Oh, Geostorm. Oh, I'm still laughing at it. Thank you for giving me a reason to laugh tonight. Oh my God, let's get this shit over and done with and talk about Geostorm. Geostorm, I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a minute. Geostorm is about... Let me try and explain this plot for you. Apparently, there's too many natural disasters going on in the world, so like the world leaders convene and they create this global network of satellites that control the weather, and a few years down the line, the satellites malfunction because their network has a virus in it, and this virus causes a bunch of these natural disasters to unleash on Earth. Did that just sound as stupid coming out of my mouth as it did for me saying it? It's because it is. I don't like trashing movies. I feel really bad about the way I acted in my Transformers The Last Night review, even though I thought that movie was complete garbage. Just a pile of steaming shit. Should not have flipped out the way I did in that video, so I will try to remain cool in this one. But there are times where you just have to sit back, chug a beer, and just trash something that deserves to be trashed. Geostorm is literally one of those movies. This is not a good movie. Geostorm sucked, for the most part. I'll give credit where credit is due, and I'll get into that in a minute, but this movie is atrocious. It is so dumb and so bad. I didn't laugh as much as I wanted to. I'm sitting here with a big-ass smile on my face. This is how I was walking out of the movie, and I thought it was complete shit. Yeah, considering what happened in Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico, probably not the best time to release this type of movie either. Like I said, this movie is just so damn stupid. It tries to be so much smarter than you. I wish that the first 2/3 of this movie were as fun in a the last 30 minutes of the movie it's still bad, but it's like bad in a good way. I wish the first 2/3 of the movie were like that, because those first 2/3 dragged ass, man. First 2/3, I was sitting in my chair, I was like, come on, let's get to the Geostorms. Come on, let's get to the Geostorms. Let's get to the cheesy aspects of this movie, because that's what I came to see. I just want to laugh at how bad storms look in this movie. Because, yeah, they looked pretty atrocious. But that didn't happen for the first 2/3. Instead, it was just government conspiracies and presidential conspiracies and family drama? Jim Sturgess and Gerard Butler, of all people, play siblings in this movie? That is an odd pairing. And of course they have differences, because what brothers in movies don't have differences? And then at the end they kiss and make up. Really, really predictable. Characters, like a vast majority of the characters in this movie, they're so thin. Gerard Butler has a little daughter that I was actually like, yeah, I feel for you. But, like, it didn't hit me emotionally because Gerard Butler had no character. And then you look at Jim Sturgess, not only is his acting terrible, but his character's just a dick. Performance-wise, everybody phones it in this movie. They do not give a shit. Gerard Butler phones it in. Jim Sturgess, are they trying to bring him back and make him a thing again? God, I hope not. Cornish, who I actually think is a fine actress, she phones it in. Ed Harris and Andy Garcia, for some reason, I don't know what convinced them to make this movie. They were in it, they phoned it in, they collected their decent paycheck. Majority of the first 2/3 of this movie are pretty boring. There's nothing storm-wise going on, except one scene that I thought was actually pretty enjoyable. It actually wasn't. I'm trying I'm trying to find positives in this movie. I guess space looked cool when they were in space. That was cool. And then there's this one action scene that I was about to talk about, and then I cut myself off, that I actually thought looked fine. The visual effects looked fine. And the situation and everything that was going on was fine. But then cars started flipping and flipping and flipping and just defying physics the way, like, they just kept flipping. And then people were, like, in cars, and then, like, you would see, like, the car, like, impact, and then, like, it would just cut away before their brutal death. I'm like, this is edited in a way that is so hilarious. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough of that in the first 2/3 of the movie. Basically, this movie relies more on government conspiracies and political cover-ups. I don't know why. Just go for it. Just be... If this was just a full-blown cheese fest for an hour and 50 minutes, I would have loved this movie a lot more. Or, I not even loved it. Just liked it a lot more than, than I do. I don't even like the movie. That's the point. The last 30 to 40 minutes of this movie, though, really go for it. That's what I wanted for the whole movie. That's the vibe the trailer gave off to me, and that is what I was hoping to see. Unfortunately, I didn't, but when it went down on screen, I laughed my ass off, because it was hilarious. It was so bad, it was funny. It was that type of entertainment that was just, it was just cheesy, stupid entertainment that's disposable, dumb, fun. That's what I wanted from this movie. It's a movie that I wanted to just grab a bunch of six-packs and a group of friends and just drink beers with those friends and start chugging them and get drunk and hopefully maybe appreciate this movie when I'm drunk. I don't think that'll happen. So much funny shit, though, that goes on in this section of the movie. The dialogue was already bad throughout the movie. It gets even worse in this part. Like, there's this dude that delivers his lines so bad. It's Gerard Butler just comes up to this random dude and punches him, and then, like, this guy just gives him a random speech. He's like, it's like, why? Don't you want the network to go online? Watch the world burn. Busted out into laughter in that scene. That guy's performance, I don't know. I'm sorry that I'm dissing this actor, because it's probably the way he was directed. But his line delivery, no, don't ever do that line delivery again, sir. I'm sorry. And that line is the most cliche and cheesy line you could ever use in a movie like this. The big giant Geostorms also come in this section of the movie, and I gotta say they were pretty funny. There's this one storm, like, there's different storms. So there's like an ice storm, like, there's one that, like, freezes water, and then there's, like, tornadoes in, like, the desert, and then there's just this giant tsunami. So the one that's, like, freezes water, it's, like, it's freezing the ocean water, and all of a sudden the movie just focuses on this random girl. And she just starts running away from the storm. The storm just starts spitting out huge chunks of ice balls, and they're hitting her. They're hitting her. Shouldn't this girl be dead if they're, like, this big? Like, she's not dead. She's running away from the fucking storm. She should be fucking dead. Instead, she keeps getting hit with them. And they're bouncing off of her. It looks so bad that it was hilarious. I was like, is this really happening right now? And then, like, she gets pinned in a corner and it starts shooting more of those giant ice balls at her, and you don't know her fate. I'm like, so this girl's probably still alive. She better get some medical attention. I don't see any ambulances around. I don't think she's dead. Cars start flipping, people start flipping and defying physics. I don't know how. The tornadoes, they still can't capture a good tornado on screen. I'm sorry. The visual effects in this section were just so laughably bad, I thought I was watching a video game cutscene. That's what it was. This final act of the movie is so chaotic. It's focusing on the storms. It's focusing on Gerard Butler in space. It's focusing on the stupid, dumb presidential government conspiracy cover-up with the satellites. It didn't know where to focus. And if it just went for the stupid, cheesy visual effects, entertainment, dumb, stupid, fun route, this movie would have been awesome. I'm not going to give this movie an F just because of that last 30 minutes. I laughed my ass off watching this movie, even in some sections where it's more serious. I wish more of the movie was like the final act of this movie. But I had a blast. I just laughing at how bad this movie was. I'm done talking about Geostorm. I had fun talking about it and laughing my ass off watching it. It's full of phoned-in performances, somewhat plausible but not all that plausible plot, and pretty laughable plot. Bad special effects, and just cheese. Just pure cheese in the final act, which is what the movie should have been in the first place. I guess I'll just flood Geostorm with a D. Did you see Geostorm? I don't ever want to ask that again because I probably know the answer. You can like me on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. You're on YouTube. Subscribe. At the end of this video, check out some other videos I have done. I do have plans to do a couple of classic horror movie reviews. I am planning on watching The Shining for the first time tomorrow, so I will be reviewing The Shining. I'm also going to try and squeeze in reviews of The Exorcist, which I've never seen. Heard it's the scariest movie of all time. An American Werewolf in London. Maybe the 2004 Van Helsing. Depends on how much time I have, and I definitely want to do a review of Halloween on Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are a great audience. I love doing these videos. I hope to see you next time. Peace out.